Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to the Breslov Weekly Parsha. This week is Parshas Seitzei. Also, like Shoftim, one of the most mitzvah-laden uh, Parshas in the Chumash. Many mitzvahs in there. And it runs a gamut of so many different ideas that we'll try and take a little bit as we go on. It starts off, if you go out to war and you get enticed by one of the ladies of the enemy, laws about that, whether you could take her, bring her to your house, and make her your wife, you can convert her or whatnot. Then it talks about having a child, several children, and maybe you have a child that you don't like, that you actually hate. And then it goes on to speak about a child who was a rebellious child, and he causes the parents a lot of aggravation because he does many things wrong. Many things wrong. So Rashi explains, if you take in an enemy woman into your home, you think you're going to make her a loyal wife, you're going to end up with a child that you don't want. And that child eventually will become a rebellious child. And there's a whole sequence of events that happen while this process is taking place. First thing we learn is that you have to be careful with whatever shidduch you make. If you make a match, try and figure out that the match is fitting, not an enemy, not something that you're doing. Now, in Gemara Kedushin talks about a person who marries for money. It's also an enemy. You're marrying for money. That's the worth that you place upon the wife. Money. It's a very terrible thing that happens today. People are seeking security. Well, the only real security is faith in Hashem. If you have faith in Hashem, you'll be able to face anything that you face in life. If you lack that faith, there are many things that can go against a person. And a person could turn his wife into an enemy. She may be a good person, very good person. But a person, by his actions, by his deeds, could turn her into an enemy. God forbid. It's been known to happen all too often, right? And that's what causes friction in the home, and that's what causes the children to be more loved, more despised, and that's what causes the children to rebel. So the first thing that the Parsha is teaching us is that you have to pray for Shalom Bayis, for peace in the home. That's probably the most important thing in a person's life. And Rosh Hashiva used to say, if you don't have Shalom Bayis, if you don't have peace in the home, it's not that you don't have peace. It's not that there's always contention or contentiousness or whatnot. It means that you don't really have a home. Shalom Bayis, peace in the home, means if you don't have the peace, you don't have a home. What kind of home do you go home to at night? Arguments? Strife? Is that it? No. So the first thing we have to do is pray for peace in our homes. The Torah goes on to tell us a law that if you find someone with a pack mule, for example, pack mule is suffering under the load that it's carrying, what you have to do is help the person who owns the mule, help him take off, rearrange the pack on the mule, make it more comfortable for the mule. The Torah is telling us you have to have compassion for animals. More above mitzvah, you have to have compassion upon animals too. But there's more to it. Reb Nosson explains that the verse states like this: if you see the mule of your friend, it says if you see the mule of your enemy that is jumping and protesting under the yoke, then what you do is you help them out. So now the Gemara says, what happens if the person says, well, you have a mitzvah to help me out. I'm going to sit on the side and watch you do the mitzvah. Then the Torah says you're absolved from doing the mitzvah. You don't have to help. If Nosson says, it says that if you find the mule of your enemy, what kind of enemy could you have in the Jewish nation? How could you have an enemy in the Jewish nation? You're a Jew, they're a Jew. Well, what's going on? So the Gemara says that if you see the person is someone who sins all the time, Sona'acha, your enemy, you're allowed to hate them. You're allowed to hate them because they're not acting like a brother. They're not acting like your friend. They're not acting like a Jew. So if you see that enemy, his mule, bucking under the yoke, you have to try and help him. If you see someone who does things wrong, if you see someone who is a sinner, then you have to help him. Help unburden him from his sins. Teach him that there are good things to do, not evil things to do. Teach him the good in life. And he says, okay, you want to teach me? Teach me. I'm going to sit here on the side. You teach. Then you don't have to teach him. You don't have to get involved. Right? He has to be willing himself to do the right thing. That's what's very important. Then the Torah goes on with other laws. One of them is do not marry a Moabite or an Ammonite because you passed by their territory. They didn't offer any help to you. Right? Someone who doesn't offer help to another is not worthy of being part of the Jewish nation. A Jew helps another Jew. A Jew is charitable. A Jew is philanthropic. A Jew gives of his money or of his time, his efforts to try and help another person. That's one of the most important things that we learn from the Parsha. You have to be able to give, be a giving person. There's givers and there's takers. The whole world is made of that. There are people who take all the time, like Hamas. They took $17 billion. They take, the Europeans gave them the money. They're givers, they're takers. That doesn't mean anything good happened from it. It's not that way, right? You have to be a giver, and it's better not to be a taker. There are some people that have to. Some people, when they refuse charity and they really need it, they're doing wrong. If you need it, take it. But try and be a giver. That's what the Torah is teaching us. Torah then speaks about the laws of hired workers, laborers. You have to be able to help them out. It's not just to pay their wages on time. It also means to give them some benefits, right? In those days, if they were working in the fields, they were allowed to take some of the fruits and eat them, even though it's not part of the wage agreement, and so on and so forth. The Torah was very sensitive to the feelings of people. And Torah has other laws about battle, going out to war. You have to go out to war. But if you are married, just married, first year, you don't have to. You're exempt, right? Because you have a wife to take care of until she's established in your home. You have to be careful with other people's feelings. The Parsha ends up speaking about the destruction of Amalek. Now, I've heard people ask, why do we have to destroy Amalek completely? Right? That's how the Parsha ends up. Why should we have to destroy them? Because, my dear friend, you have to realize that evil exists in the world. And if you don't get rid of it, you're going to suffer from it. Right? And that's really what we have to realize today. There's a lot of controversy going on in Eretz Israel, in Israel today, things that are going on with Gaza, where people are making a lot of noise. Oh, they're starving. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, you have to see that people are fed. But frankly, in World War II, not the Brits and not the Americans gave food to the Germans. They didn't do it. It's the enemy. Now, you want to tell me that not all the people in Gaza are enemy. I hear you. I don't accept that because they're the ones who elected Hamas. And therefore, they're almost like Hamas. That's what they wanted. But okay, leave that alone for a while. You want to provide them with food, provide them. Is there anybody talking about providing the hostages with food? Is there anyone speaking about that? No. No. There is something called pure evil. Impure evil, but it's pure evil, absolute evil. That's Hamas. And unless they're eradicated, you're going to have things like this again and again and again and again, and so on and so forth. So it's up to us to do the best we can to eradicate all evil from the world. It doesn't have to be everyone. The Torah doesn't say wipe out every nation. God forbid. It doesn't say that. There are good people. There are many good people. But what is pure evil must be eradicated. That's what the Parsha ends up telling us. And if we do that, then we will remember that there is Hashem, and Hashem controls the world, and that, God willing, we will see the coming of Mashiach, the building of the Beis HaMikdash, Heido b'Yameinu, Amen. We want to thank you all for watching these videos. We hope it's helped you, the ideas of Rabbi Nachman, Rabbi Nosson, and it will enhance your Shabbos. You'll have something extra to talk about. We hope you'll be able to share these ideas with other people too. And with that, we're going to see wonders upon wonders, how people's lives improve, and we have real reason to live, go forward with life, and to succeed in having a wonderful life. Amen.